Hi Year 10, it's Mosquito here. What I'm going to do today is just talk you through the task on Show My Homework for this week. What I want you to be thinking about is developing initial ideas, working towards a final piece. I know that this isn't going to be possible for everybody, however, I do think that it is something that quite a lot of people could produce, especially if we think about the idea of a final piece in a bit of a looser sense. Obviously, we are still all in a kind of lockdown and we're all not really in school properly. So, what I'm asking you to do is to be resourceful, to be imaginative, and to try and resolve the project structures as best you can, really, from home. So for this week, for the task, what I want you to do is to create 4 initial ideas. You can do that really messily, like I've done here, or you can divide your page perfectly into 4. You can label each box, and inside each box, I want you to come up with 4 different compositions linking to your theme and how you've developed it. I've included here a really good example. Obviously you can only see 2 out of the 4 ideas, however this student has drawn each idea on one full A3 page, so it's really clear what it is that they want to do for each idea, and they have annotated each idea as well. In the annotation you can see that the student has referenced their artist inspiration, so they're making connections with where their ideas have come from. They have referenced the wider theme, and they have referenced their personal theme. So for you, the wider theme would be structures. So you want to say, this links to structures because, and then you want to link it to the personal theme that you have picked. So that might be, this links to structures because ... This also links to the idea of mental health because ... Okay, initially you might think, how does mental health link to structures? However, you can link it in loads of different ways, because as we've said, art is all about interpretation. So mental health might link to the structures that we form within society, the structures that we form within our own minds, and the kind of constraints that we put on ourselves. So you can see there I've taken something that maybe is quite abstract, the idea of mental health, but I have quite clearly linked it back to structures. In your annotation as well, you want to explain your reasons why you have chosen each idea. It does not have to be as much as this, however, this is a really excellent example of a student that got above a 6. What I've got here is some artist inspiration of things that I thought would be possible to do at home. Obviously it's quite late in the day to be picking a new artist, but really what this is just to say, for your final piece you might want to think about drawing. Could you draw a portrait of someone that's in your household? Could you use fine liner to draw a portrait and then add a bit of watercolour if you had that available? Could you just produce a really beautiful, really refined drawing? This could be quite small, this could be larger scale, whatever you've got available to you. Some of you might have paints at home, therefore you could produce a painting. Again, this could just be something on a small scale. Some of you might have coloured pencils at home, so you could produce something that's really detailed, really refined and controlled. So the best piece of work that you could possibly create during this whole project, and that could become your final piece. You might want to use collage, so go to the shop, get some magazines, get some newspapers, use old photographs, family photographs that you might have knocking about at home, and create a piece of artwork inspired by this. Could you use natural forms? So there's a leaf there that you could cut out and create something out of. For some drawing inspiration, again, I've just got some images from Pinterest to kind of try and inspire you, but you can see here that they're using cardboard. You've probably all had lots of deliveries during lockdown, so could you draw on top of cardboard using whatever materials you have at home? Could you do something that's digital, so using an app on your phones, maybe using software on your laptops to produce something on a digital basis? Could you use household objects and then draw from them? Could you draw the same thing over and over again, but maybe using different lighting or different materials? What about thinking about your surroundings and drawing the view from outside your window? Again, I spoke about this last time, but you might want to think about just using a limited colour palette. So here the example is using white, pinks and more like a peachy colour to create something that is more refined and more developed, maybe than a starting point which could have been something like this. All of your projects are totally different now, so you need to select from this inspiration what's relevant for you. The last slide here is just thinking about collage and drawing maybe combined. So again, could you use photography, add that with a drawing? Could you do something that's digital? Could you use scraps from around the home? Think about packaging as well within the kitchen. Collage, as I've already mentioned, just using pen and paper, but you're drawing from what's around you. So you've got cans and food and things like that. Could you use everyday objects but layer to create something quite simple yet effective? Could you look at shop fronts and things on your daily walk? So all of these are starting points for a final piece. Photography is something that I think most people have access to as well. So could you produce a final piece that is literally just a series of photographs? How might a photograph link to the word structures? How might it link to your personal development, which could be something as simple as colour, shape, form? Repetition is also a great way to build up a body of work that is also effective. So please bear that in mind as well, as you can see from the imagery here. If you have any questions, then just let me know, but I really hope that this has been helpful. To summarise, you want to be producing 4 initial ideas for a final piece. Then what you should be doing is trying those ideas out. So maybe take idea 1, draw it out bigger in your sketchbook or on paper, and literally test if it's going to work or not. A reminder that in your sketchbook now or wherever you're working, your work should just be getting better and better and better. If you are reflecting on it and thinking it's getting worse, then you need to change it. What is it that you might want to change or get rid of to think about the next step and to think about how to make it better? Remember, a final piece should be refined. It should be the best piece of work that you have produced in this whole year. Please be resourceful. Please think small. Think about photography, collage and drawing, because I think they're going to be the main ways that you could get a final piece out of this. You have 4 weeks left, so I need a final piece in that time. Okay, thank you.